everyone, it's Beck here, and today I'm going to do a bit of a review on some Mont Marte watercolor brushes. First off, I just want to show you what brushes I currently use though. These brushes range from ultra cheap, no-name brands from eBay worth like $1 to much higher quality but still affordable brands such as the Winsor & Newton Cotman series. Unfortunately, with my current selection, I don't actually have that much variety of brush types. I have a few flat, plenty of round, and a few liners. I don't have any mops or round pointers, which can be a bit of a pain depending on what I'm trying to create. These are all synthetic fiber brushes as well, so they don't hold much water in my opinion. So today we're looking at the Mont Marte Gallery Series watercolor brush set. I picked these up from the dollar store and they're incredibly affordable, ranging from $5 to $8. The bristles itself are pony hair, which generally speaking are more desired with watercolor brushes because they tend to hold a lot more water and keep their shape for a lot longer. It was a bit of a surprise when reading it was natural hair, considering the price was very low. The packaging shows no details of what it's made from either, so I had to do a bit of research to find that out. The package does, however, show different types of brushes that are in the entire range and especially what they are used for, so that's a great help in general. I also picked up the Mont Marte Mini Detail Brush Set too, which is designed for incredibly small, fine detail art, obviously, and they're extremely affordable as well, ranging at around $7.50 at the place that I got them. My current selection of brushes, I had to cut a few of the really cheaper ones so that I had the right size that I was after. I know, I could have just bought them, but when you're on a tight budget like I am, you gotta kind of make do with what you've got. Now, I can't remember exactly what watercolor branded paper I'm using, I'm sorry, but I do know it's 300 GSM. The paint is Royal Langnickel in the color Rose. Now with some brushes, depending on the fibers used, the bristles may be coated in like a hard wax sort of residue. I don't know exactly what it is, but this is just to keep the hair in place before usage. You can easily just wash it off with a bit of water and soap. After I washed the residue off, I actually found that a lot of the hairs fell out. Like, it's pretty normal for cheaper brushes to lose some hair, so I wasn't too surprised. However, it was still a little bit tedious having to make sure all those loose hairs were off before I started painting. Now, the things that I'm looking for in these brushes are shape. Does the pony hair keep good shape when it's wet? Point. Is the point crisp and sharp when it's wet? And is it smooth on the page when I do paint with it? If that makes sense. And especially hold. Does it hold pigment, like water paint, enough to last on the page without having to go back and forth to reload the brush every couple of strokes? That is a big issue that I have with my current paint brushes. They really don't hold a hell of a lot of pigment to them. So hopefully we will see. So first up, I'm going to try out the flat brushes, which are in the sizes of 16, 12, 10 long, 10 short, 8, 7, 6, 4 and 3. And if that range of numbers sounded a little bit confusing, I'll also be writing the actual number on the page as well next to what I'm doing so that you actually can see what I'm using. I'm also starting with a basic stroke using the entire flat side. Then I'm going to see and use the edge to see how thin I can get it and if it's thin and crisp. Followed by a wide wash to see how the hairs move on the page, see how it spreads the pigment, is it even? And then I'm going to do the hold test with the long strokes at the bottom to see how much water or pigment that it uses before I have to reload the actual brush. Next up are the round brushes, and oh my gosh, I absolutely love them. I'm just so ultra excited to finally have large round brushes with a point, opposed to my Winsor & Newton ones, which are all curved at the top. These brushes sizes are 16, 12, 8, 6 short, 6 long, 4 short, 4 long, and 2. And what I mean by long and short are literally as it sounds. Like, there are slight variants of the length width, a couple of the sizes. The long and the short were pretty much identical with the size 6, but with the size 4, short and long, it did seem to differ just slightly. The short 4 didn't have that much of a point, so it was definitely more curved, opposed to the long, which did have a nice point to it. This did show in the paper, but I mean, that was really the only difference. They still held the same amount of water. Okay, now for the lovely fine detailed brushes. The sizes on these are a little bit confusing, so I'll try to go slow and kind of explain it because it sounds a bit funny to say out loud. So there is the 8/0 shader, the 16/0 spotter, 16/0 round, 16/0 liner, and the 8/0 angled spot detailer. Now, with these being Taklon hairs, they actually do hold a lot more pigment than I had initially thought they would. And as an animal artist, I do very fine fur and obviously a lot of lines and a ton of strokes. So with these, they definitely go for the mark for me. So I am very happy with these. I didn't have to go back and forth to reload my brush half as much as what I would normally have to do with my current brushes. So I was very pleased with yeah, the strokes and precision of it all, and it was really nice. The angled brush, however, yeah, I got no idea how to actually hold that. I'm just going to have to try to practice different angles and ways to hold it that it's more beneficial for me, because it was kind of really awkward to hold. Okay, final thoughts. The pony hair brushes, I love them. They are cheap, affordable, natural hair bristles, and they were just amazing. The hair didn't actually fall out pretty much at all once I actually started using them. It must have just been some loose hairs that I encountered when I initially washed them out that fell out, because afterwards I had no problem. They kept their shape really well when they were wet, they were crisp, The spread of the paint was smooth and even, and I was able to reshape them really easily when I did finish them, so that the brush itself keeps its shape. They held enough water to actually last a while on the page, and I would definitely recommend the Mont Marte Gallery watercolor brush series, especially if you're on a tight budget like me, or if you're just starting out and have no idea what to use. These are cheap but not bad quality at all. I definitely do recommend them. The detail set is also fantastic. The Taklon surprised me with how much paint it could hold, and the lines were crisp and smooth, and I could just move it really easily. Even though they were synthetic bristles, they were absolutely great, and I definitely would recommend them both. Now, by the way, this has nothing to do with sponsorship. I don't have that big of a following anyway to have any sort of sponsors. So these I bought because I needed new brushes, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna make a video out of this. So it has nothing to do with, Mont Marte, or Mont Marte. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but yeah. So this is just my honest opinion. Then that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found this somewhat helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below and consider subscribing to join the wonderful world of Beckles Art. For more daily content, I am also on Facebook and Instagram at Beckles Art. I also have some original art for sale in the link below. Have a fine and dandy day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!